Hello children, here we'll go through the lesson Landscape of the Soul, a lesson from your Hornbill textbook. Here, uh, in this particular lesson, the Chinese view of art is compared to the European art. Okay, and this comparison is done through the examples. So, going through or looking at any piece of creativity or creative art is actually a landscape of one's soul. So whatever a person um, thinks, that is reflected through his creativity, through his art. The classical Chinese painters, they do not intend to produce an exact copy of the landscape. They want their viewers to see the spirit behind their work. They give that freedom to their viewers. But the European artists, they try to create a perfect imitation. They don't give any such space to their viewers. In the Chinese story, through the stories only, this comparison will be done here in this chapter, or it is done here in this chapter. In the Chinese story, the emperor asks for or orders for a painting to be made, and when that is ready, he appreciates its outer appearance. But the artist shows the true meaning of his work. A classical Chinese landscape does not reproduce an actual view as it is done in the European painting. The European painter wants the viewers to borrow his eyes and look at the painting through him. And the Chinese painters, they don't do so. You can enter into a Chinese art from any point. Through the stories, when we go through, a wonderful story is given about a painter here to show what type of Chinese art is there. Is talked about in this particular lesson. The painter Wu Daozi, who lived in the 88th century. So, this is a story of a painter in 8th century. So, his painting, that is his last painting, was a landscape, and the Tang Emperor Zhuangzong commissioned it to decorate a palace wall. The emperor admired the scene of the forest, waterfalls, clouds, etc. And the painter requested the emperor to look in the cave in the painting in which there dwelled a spirit. The painter clapped. The cave opened. He entered it to show its inside to the emperor. But the door closed behind him, and before the emperor realized that what had happened, the painting vanished from the wall, and nothing was seen later of the painter. Even the painter nor his painting was seen again. So here it shows the freedom to the viewers that we can interpret to this story, that the painter did not impose his viewpoint on the viewer. The freedom to the viewer is given there so that the viewers could analyze the painting or the art in their according to their own perspective. Then further, if we see the story from Europe is given. The story about Quentin Metsys explains the European appreciations of perfect imitation in art. So Quentin Metsys was a blacksmith who loved a painter's daughter. The painter was reluctant to accept a blacksmith as his son-in-law. So one day, Metsys stole into quietly the artist's studio without the painter's knowledge, and he painted a fly on his latest panel. The fly was painted with such a perfect imitation that the artist himself couldn't make out. He took it for real. And when he realized that it was painted by the person who loved his daughter, he agreed to give away his daughter to Metzes, who later became a great artist. So here we see that there is no scope of the idea of the viewer. The perfect imitation is expected, or it is seen there in the European painting. So this is the difference we see there in the Chinese and the European painting. So these two stories illustrate, they show what each form of art is trying to achieve. A perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe, and the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance, but the artist reveals him the true meaning of his work. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows the way within. Let me show the way. The Tao, a word that means both the path or the method and the mysterious work of the universe. This is what the artist reflects. Further here, it's talked about the horizontal scroll. So in case of the horizontal scroll, it's more true. So what is it? What is the horizontal scroll? It adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer. Even this this participation is physical as well as mental. The Chinese painter wants you to enter his mind. Okay. So this way a question can be, means even more number of questions can be framed. Even some more you have to frame and write down in the copy. One more question, the landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual space. Conceptual space, that is, it's conceived as an idea. So two questions here itself. The other lines also could be raised as extract. On the basis of that can be asked to explain the meaning of that particular line. Thank you.